Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Table Talk with T. What's up to everybody in the chat room? We're just getting the conversation started. A lot of people talking about Shawty Lo, and I just made a comment that if I end up pregnant by Shawty Lo, promise me that y'all won't judge me, since everybody else seems to get pregnant by this man randomly. Nobody knows how they got pregnant. They just end up knocked up by him. So if you guys have not heard, we were talking about it last week's show about the whole situation that I was going through with NBC and YouTube trying to pull down my Shawty Lo video. They wanted to ban it worldwide because I had used some of their material in my video, and I was able to fight it, and I ended up winning. And so they're going to let the video stay up, and it was an epic win for me, and I'm happy because it's like it was a small guy versus the big guy. So I was really, really happy when they decided to back down, and I think I'm the only person right now on the Internet who has pieces of the Shawty Lo video. Because even when you go on Worldstar Hip Hop, they're not showing the video at all. They've taken it down from all the sites. So I'm the only person right now with that video. So it was crazy. And you were on the phone with me when I found out that they decided to back down. So what did you think about the whole situation, Ronan?
I thought it was motivating to see that the little person won finally. But it shows you, like, you take a stand for something that you stand a chance of winning.
Right. And that was the whole thing. It's like I just wanted to prove a point. Like, the only reason why you guys are trying to cancel this is because it's somebody stepping out of the damn sheeple mentality and seeing the BS behind it. Now, like I said, if I had agreed with the show and been for the show, they probably wouldn't have messed with me. But because I spoke out on the show, it became an issue for them. But I'm just glad that I was able to keep my video up and, keep my message out there. And like they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's how I feel about the whole situation. So, yeah, it was definitely when I was screaming, I was like, yay, I won! Jordan was like, take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot and post it on Facebook, and that's exactly what I did, too. Just these shows are becoming so ratchet. The crazy thing is, right now, it's come out that the show is going to be canceled. Now, I was at the gym yesterday working out because I've been back in the gym. I've been doing a lot of combat classes and, on the Stairmaster and on the treadmill. And while I'm in the gym, what comes on the big screen TV? They're talking about the whole Shawty Lo situation on Fox News, on Greta Van Sustren's show. And it's crazy because now this has made national news and everybody's speaking about it. Now I have a lot of, white folks coming to my video, a lot of racist white people saying, typical, N-word behavior, and that's what monkeys do. And so now it's becoming national. So it's crazy because what I said in my video, a lot of black folks want to come at me and say, well, you can't say all black people, and, it's not all of us, and yes, and I understand that. But the world does, we don't have that comfort of being seen as individuals. So when the world sees a show like that, they say things like typical black behavior, this is what black people do, and now the comments on the video are showing what I said. And now people are mad and they're going back and forth with a lot of racist people on the video. So I just find that funny that what I said came to pass. Because a lot of, it's trolls, but it's just the point that that's how a lot of people feel about certain things. So what did you think about the whole situation, Ron, as far as like the show being canceled and people making excuses for the show and things like that?
I think that as good as it was to take that ratchet bullshit off the air, it's not enough. You got more than enough shows already, especially with this show like Scandal, that puts out a bad image. You got the Braxtons, you got the Real Housewives or whatever, Basketball Wives. There's a lot more that need to come off the air because, again, having been overseas, that's how they see us, especially people of color. So we don't understand how much collateral damage that comes with an image like that.
Right. And, like I said, I know for me personally, when I watch reality shows, I watch them just to clown. If you follow me on Twitter, I go in. I don't watch it to be, like this person on the show. I watch it to clown and make fun of the situation at hand and just how phony and scripted it is. But it's to the point where people are making money off of these. People are trying their best to be on the show, and they're trying to do whatever to make it on these shows now. And I think Mona Scott is very guilty of a lot of this stuff as well. She's the lady that produces a lot of these new VH1 shows like Love and Hip Hop and Mr. and Miss Jones and, all the ratchet shit that you see on VH1. She's been behind it, and now it's coming out that Yandy's baby's father is a molester and he's going up for trial. He had sex with his stepdaughter who was 15. I'll be doing a video about this probably sometime this week. So my thing is, it seems like people are just desperate, one, to go on a reality show. If you have a trial coming up and you're an accused molester, why would you go on a reality show? But it just shows you how thirsty people are, and it also shows you how trifling Mona Scott is for putting any and everybody on her show. This is the second person that's been accused of molesting a child. Rashida's husband, even though people are saying that it's a rumor, but this rumor has been around for a while, they were saying that Rashida's husband slept with one of his stepdaughters. So I don't know, and it just seems like there's no background check. It's just whoever's willing to sell their soul and put themselves on TV for, public humiliation and ridicule and people to say things. It's like people don't care no more. There are no morals. And I think that, I put a lot of blame on the producers and on the networks for airing the nonsense. Because people are always going to try and find a way to make money, like they're saying in the chat room. G. Stewart is saying that it's easy money. People are attention whores. So you always have people out there like that. But, I'm just glad to see that for once folks stood up for something. It may be little, but at least everybody got together and signed that petition and stood up for something.
We need to see more of that, though. A whole lot more.
Right.
That is just as destructive, if not more, than what that Show That Low Nonsense is. But with him complaining, it's funny. But, again, we have a lot more work to do.
Right. That's the crazy part. And then what was so interesting about the whole situation, I know they were interviewing him on certain blogs as to why he had so many kids. And he was saying that the reason why he had so many kids was because I guess he was a dope boy in Atlanta. He was making a lot of money. And, a lot of females go after dope boys, and they were going out their way to get pregnant by him, and that's how he ended up with a lot of kids. So, like I always said in the video, it wasn't so much to even diss Shawty Lo, because I was like, at least he was acknowledging his children. At least he's taking care of his children. I'll give him that much. But it says a lot about the women. And if y'all haven't heard, he has a 12th child on the way. And it's by a whole nother female. It wasn't even the female that was featured on the show. It's by another girl that he's been messing with off and on since she was 16. So now she's pregnant as well. So it just says a lot that she would come into a situation, know what time it is, and still get knocked up. So it says a lot about, people's self-esteem, people's self-worth. So I just think the whole situation is crazy. So what did you think about the situation when you heard about him having another kid on the way?
I'm not surprised, and it goes to show what irresponsible people would do to not only get attention, but some kind of measure of significance and easy money. And I emphasize the word easy. So, no one's measure of self-esteem or self-worth is, where it needs to be anymore. It's just like, as long as I get it on television, I'm cool. And that's just outright foul.
Right. People in the chat room are saying a lot of stuff, if you want to have all those kids, then you better have the power to take care of them and support them. A lot of folks say they don't want any kids. For me personally, 2 is more than enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Kids are not cheap at all. They do grow. You know what I'm saying? That week only lasted so long. After that, they start eating regular food like regular adults. I took my son out yesterday for his birthday. We went out to dinner, and he wanted to go to Champs. That's one of his restaurants. And it was like, they bought him the kitty menu, and he's like, I'm not, I don't want that, not the kitty menu. He's like, the kitty menu doesn't even fill him up no more. He had a big old Champs burger like a grown man. His meal was as much as mine. So it's like, kids are not cheap at all. That's why it's like, he can afford to take care of 10 kids. Me personally, 2 is enough for me. I'm done. I'm for real. Kids is too much. But, so that whole situation with Shawty Lo and them canceling the show, I think that was a good thing. Somebody had left a comment on my Facebook page, and they were saying that they don't understand how people can complain about Shawty Lo but support Django, the movie. So, I wasn't really even going to comment on it. I understood where she was coming from, but to me it's apples and oranges. And I know you said you had seen the comment on the Facebook page. What did you think about that particular comment? Like, do you think it's a fair comparison to compare Django to the whole Shawty Lo situation?
Outside being outright retarded, it is comparing apples to oranges, because Django, while it was a glimpse of what took place on something that is historic and significant in the lives of especially people of color and beyond. The Shorty Low nonsense is a show with is like pretty much displaying irresponsibility and ignorance at the same time. It has no, no overall mental value other than to show people how silly people can get, how bad, of a culture has fallen. So, again, that's like apples and oranges. There's no difference. I mean, yeah, it's Tarantino that made his movie. Can't give him that, the credit on that completely, but still, there is nothing redeeming in the Shorty Low show. It just isn't.
Right. And that's how most of these shows are. I know Jamal was saying some stuff about Mob Wives. Folks were talking about the Bad Girls Club. And I know that they're in Atlanta. I was flipping through the channels, and it said that the Bad Girls Club is in Atlanta this season. And it's Atlanta's just getting a really, really bad rap. It's like everything ratchet is going on in Atlanta, and that's like one of my favorite cities. But it's been, made to look like it's a horrible, ratchet city, because all these shows that are coming out of there. And that's my issue with a lot of these reality shows is that there's no point. With the Bad Girls Club, there is no, they're not going to work. They're not taking classes. They're not bettering themselves. So it's like, what is the point of this show? Just sitting there, get drunk, have one-night stands, and fight each other? Even with Mob Wives, there is no way in hell. Oh, I seen that VH1 Access. He said, T, have you seen that there's a Nigerian girl on the Bad Girls Club this season? I seen the preview where Natalie Nunn was talking about her, and she needs to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, when I said, I was like, there's a Nigerian girl on the Bad Girls Club, like, really? You couldn't find any other show to be on? Anyhow, so with the whole situation, like here with the Mob Wives, I always found that funny. People, I used to joke on Twitter. I'm like, okay, so we got the Chicago Mob Wives, we got the New York Mob Wives. How about the Gangbanger Wives? Why don't we have a show and get, Jeff Ford's wife, Larry Hoover's wife, and all these gangbangers' wives together and let them have a show? That ain't gonna happen. So it's almost like they sit there and they perpetuate certain things, and it's cool for Mob Wives, and it's cool for them to talk about the mob, and nobody knows where any of these women got their money from before they even got on the show. These women lived in big houses, and, they have fur coats and everything else, but it's like they're pushing an agenda. But I just always find it funny that it's cool for those type of shows to air, and it's cool for Drita to be the tough girl and fight everybody, but then, when black folks do it, when they're the tough girl in the show and they're fighting, then they're just ratchet, and it basically mirrors all black women instead of just that particular person. So that, I don't know. Have you ever seen Mob Wives?
No, I've seen previews, and personally, there's some facially challenged bitches on there. I thought I was looking at, like a mini.
You must be talking about Big Ange.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the previews.
I call her Big Angelo. She looked like a big-ass man.
No, she looked like one of them Dick Tracy character extras. It was just ugly as hell. I couldn't even get into it. Couldn't do it.
And then when she be laughing, I be cracking up. Her laugh is a trip. And she's always talking about plastic surgery. I'm like, these people are crazy as hell. Jamal gonna say there's some strong face-looking women on that show. Especially the Chicago Mob Wives. I said, these are some old, just wore down, beat down women, and they're so thirsty to be on this reality show, and they're just all crazy and yelling at each other. I can't get into it. I like the Mob Wives New York a lot better than the Chicago. I couldn't watch the Chicago show, period at all.
Nah, I don't blame you.
But, I was like, I'll pass. I've seen enough. I watched 2 shows. It's like I've seen enough. It's just to the point now where there's just no point to a lot of these shows. I mean, at all. I think the only reality show I'm interested in watching that's coming out is The Face Off, or The Face, the Naomi Campbell show. It's like a modeling show, and Nigel Barker's on there. I'm kind of interested in seeing how that's going to, differentiate itself from America's Next Top Model. So that's probably like the only show I'm even interested in watching. But it's just kind of crazy because there's not really a lot of shows out here to watch besides reality TV. I mean, there's certain sitcoms, but even still, it's just more reality shows than anything else. So it's kind of crazy. But moving on to the next topic, so once again, I'm just happy that I was able to get that win with NBC. So the next thing we were going to talk about was the whole situation with Alex Jones. Now, I had made a video about that. I know this was a dang on gun battle, shot out, heard around the world. And that situation was just nuts. Did you get a chance to catch it? You was watching some of it today with the whole thing with him and Pierce Morgan going back and forth?
Yeah, I seen a vast majority of it, and it was pretty wild. I mean, he was just flying off at the handle, and it seemed like Pierce Morgan was trying to, I guess, shut him out, pretty much dismiss what he was talking about. And it had me scratching my head because, like, again, like, it seemed like he was just doing some ducking and dodging from things that seem to be obvious or glaringly obvious nowadays. So I'm going to watch it again tonight, but I just found that very interesting. I've never seen Alex Jones like that. Never.
I mean, he was just, but you don't watch his show. Because like I said, everybody was so surprised, but I watch his, his YouTube show, and he's like that. He's just loud, he's obnoxious, he's very condescending at times, but it was just so funny. Like, I just laughed like, this can't be life. Like, I think he should have had a normal debate, but I'm not shocked at the way he came out because that's Alex Jones. You know what I'm saying? But he made himself look crazy as hell. But what he was saying had a lot of truth to it. His delivery may have been off, but he was saying a lot of truth, and Pierce Morgan is so fucking condescending and cocky. Now, let me remind y'all, I think it was about 2 weeks before Alex Jones went on the Pierce Morgan show, he had interviewed Larry Pratt. And Larry Pratt is like a real big, pro-Second Amendment dude. Larry Pratt is an old white man, so he's very, soft-spoken, very articulate and stuff like that. And Pierce Morgan called him an idiot, went off on him, berated him, and I'm just like, wow, Pierce is really rude. So that's why I don't feel too bad for Pierce, because anybody who's for the Second Amendment, anybody who's for gun rights, he tries to overtalk them and, go off on them on his show, and this time he got a dose of his own medicine. So I don't feel bad for him. But it was just kind of crazy. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just again, like, there's this big ass push for people to basically absolve themselves to protect themselves, which we're starting to see through the bullshit. And like, hey, it's not even guns that kill people. You think about alcohol, you think about cars, you think about cigarettes. There's other type of things that they should be banning, or even McDonald's. No one's even talking about that. So, again, it's like there's a reason why they're doing this. People need to wake up, do their research, and pay attention to what's really happening out here.
Right. And I guess my theory is this, because somebody did email me, they're like, I understand that you're for the Second Amendment and stuff like that, but, why do people need to have semi-autos? Why do people need to have, assault weapons with 300-round clips? And I understand that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really agree with the whole assault weapons. I don't think anybody needs an AR-15 rifle, that can shoot, 300 bullets in 2 seconds. I mean, I think that's kind of extreme. But if it's been allowed and people have that, people are not just going to be easily, willing to give that up either. I do believe that people have a right to protect themselves in their own homes, but as far as a lot of these illegal guns out here, that's the part that worries me, because, they want to ban guns, they want to take the guns away, but do you really think, like, gangbangers are going to go turn in their guns, or, criminals or whoever are just going to be like, okay, here goes my gun? They're not going to do that. The only people that would be forced to turn in their guns are the law-abiding citizens. So, and that's the point that I really understand that they're trying to get at. So that's what I don't agree with, is with that, but I don't think that people need assault rifles. I don't think that they do. I don't think that people need assault weapons. Some people do. Some people want them, but I don't think that they do, in my personal opinion. What do you think about the whole assault weapons? Because you were in the military, so you were trained on that type of stuff, right?
Yes. I was trained to use an M16, and, they pretty much...
Those are such big guns.
Well, they're not as big as you want to say. I mean, like, it's all about...
Okay, well, I went to the gun shop, in, and the man put a big old AR something AR in my hand, and it was like, I almost dropped it. I got a little bony arm, so I can't even hold no big old gun. Half the guns were just so damn heavy. I'm like, damn. It was just too much, you know what I'm saying? And, we were just in there and stuff, and, you can take shooting ranges, classes, and all that stuff. So we're in there, and he's like, have you ever held a gun? And I'm like, no. I'm not no violent person. I'll just go around with, guns on me. I was like, I've never held one. And so he was having me, hold different ones. Them things is heavy. So I guess my whole thing is, who's just walking around with the AR-15? Like, it's not light. It's not like a little handgun or a 22. That's like a small baby in your arms. So, yeah, somebody says 7 to 9 pounds. I can't carry that.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, you have to, the most important thing is to remove the fear of the gun from you. That's what they teach you. After that, they teach you how to aim with precision. You know, expect the round to go off, because most people, once they feel that kickback or recoil, you know, they start, you know, getting nervous.
Oh, Lord.
But it's all about,
so when you shoot it, like that type of gun, is it a big recoil?
It depends. I mean, there's things.
So it would knock me out then. It would probably hit me in the chest and I pass out.
Well, the thing is, it's all about positioning, and plus, you got to figure that there's some things like suppressors that take out the recoil and, you know, the kick from it. There's some guns like out there that don't offer that much kick. It just depends how they're designed and made. But the thing is, like, they teach you how to have like a battle sight zero or BZO, and learn how to focus on your target and move on to the next one. So once you get past that fear, you're able to pay attention to whatever happens, so you can move from, you know, one target to another. You know, but you know, we've been taught to shoot at targets, paper targets. Now, some people shoot at meat, so that way they can make the distinct difference between that. I mean, well, they can pretty much lose the conscious part when they actually shoot at people sometimes. So, again, it's all about.
And I think that's the issue. Is I guess that's what scares me with, you know, with all these guns out here, because, like you said, you've had military training. When I went to the little gun shop, you know, because they were trying to sign me up for classes, like, I'm just nervous with stuff like that, you know, because it's just, I don't know, I'm just nervous. Maybe because I'm a girl, but I know girls who can shoot. But Jamal was telling me, he's like, T, you can buy a stun gun or pepper spray. You know what? Thank you, Jamal. I should do that. I think I'm better off getting a stun gun than, because I'm serious. Like, he was handing me these guns, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is huge. Like, this is like carrying a newborn child, but it's cold and dead. You know, so it just made me really, really nervous, you know, and that's the part that has me nervous is people have these guns, and they're not trained in them. You get what I'm saying? Like, you were trained, and a lot of people in the military are trained, but just all these illegal guns that are out here, look at all these kids losing their lives in Chicago and in these, you know, inner cities, because they're getting a hold of these assault weapons, and they have no idea what they're doing. They just see it as a huge gun, it's cool, and then, like you said, there's a kickback, you know, the gun goes off in the car, and, you know, just it's a scary thought.
But here's the thing you have to think about, T. It's not just the gun. Some people can get you with knives. Some people use crossbows. Some people use all different types of weapons to actually get at you, or a shard of glass, or whatever. You have to think about, once you get past the fear of handling a weapon, because a weapon's not going to hurt you until you mishandle it. That's what it is. You have to know what you're doing. That way you're not a danger to yourself or other people. Now, again, there may come a time when you have to protect you and your family. And if you have that fear, that mindset, you're going to compromise your safety and theirs. So that's why the whole training thing is, once you get past the fear and certain moral parameters, it's either you or them. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
So a lot of us manage to do some things that maybe we're not proud of, but still, you have to have a choice. Either is to go home or get carried home.
Right. And I think I think it's getting to the point where it's that bad, and that's how people's mentalities are. So, you know, and that's why I'm just to the point, like, you know, I have to be able to find ways to protect myself. You know, so I'm taking these combat classes, and, you know, my boys are in jiu-jitsu and boxing, and, you know, I'm learning and teaching them self-defense. So I think that's very important as well, you know, but I don't know, maybe I'll get into the gun training, you know, as, you know, time persists, you know, maybe later on in the future. But I guess I have to, you know, not be so nervous, because, like I said, it just really scared me to, like, have something that big in my hands, and then to know, you know, how powerful that is, that can take somebody's life. Like, that's a scary feeling, you know, for me. And, you know, I'm sensitive when it comes to certain things and stuff, so. You know, I'm not about to cry, I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but I respect people, you know, who know, and they've taken time to learn about their guns and taking proper training and things like that, you know, and I think those are the people who are going to be affected if these gun laws go to pass. It's not going to be the people who have them illegally. It's not going to be the you know, the assholes who can't shoot, who end up, you know, shooting 15 innocent kids trying to get one person. It's not never going to be that person affected. It's going to be the people who are law-abiding and who went and took the training and who went to go do the right thing. So that's definitely something that people need to take into consideration, too. And that's why I feel like, you know, a lot of the stuff that Alex Jones was saying was true when he was like, you know, it's easy to blame the guns, but, you know, so what are you going to do next? Ban knives? Because knives kill people. You know, you can kill somebody with your fist if you know what you're doing, you know, truth be told. So it's like, you know, where do we end it? Are we going to start banning forks because people are obese? You know, you can't lose weight, so now we have to ban forks because you weigh 500 pounds. That makes no sense.
Well, hold on, T, because then you're going to move from banning forks to banning hands to banning all kind of things. Because, again, it's going to get real ridiculous. I mean, they should ban GMOs, but they don't. You know, it's starting to get real retarded with a lot of the excuses that they're saying. There's a dark agenda in all this propaganda to try to remove the Second Amendment. People need to read as to what that Second Amendment pertains to. That way they know as to why they're trying to remove it from us. You know, it only helps them understand what's happening.
So do you think that Alex Jones hurt the cause or helped the cause? Because a lot of people are saying that he made people who are pro-gun, he made them look crazy as cat shit.
I'm kind of mixed on that. Because in some ways he helped the cause and made people, like, concerned, the ones who are awake. Sheep, they're going to basically defend removing weapons because they believe everything on television when they shouldn't. So I would say he pretty much helped people become aware because you've seen the reaction as to why people try to silence him and others. Like people, you know, like on this show, they'll probably say something bad about this show about getting people aware. And you have to be very leery about that because there's other things that are out there dangerous to us, known and unknown, that most people don't pay attention to.
Right. You know, and that's the thing, like I always say, you just got to be out here, you have to be vigilant, and you have to do your own research. It's not for anybody else to find information for you. The information is out there. You know, you have to be willing to go out there and look for it and, you know, come to your own conclusions. And that's why I didn't understand why people are like, you know, oh, I'm so disappointed with Alex Jones and, you know, he just ruined the whole truther movement. But why are you looking at Alex Jones as a god any damn way? You know what I'm saying? There's so many people out here who are spitting the truth. You know, there's a lot of people out there who know what's up, everything from Professor Griff to Immortal Technique to Dr. Umar Johnson. There's so many names out here that I can, you know, name of people that I listen to on a consistent basis, and I take a little bit from everybody. You know, you just can't listen to an Alex Jones and then ignore other people. There's also a really good website called Vigilant Citizen. You know, he tends to put a lot of really good blogs up. I check him out as well. You know, so you were talking to me earlier when you called me after I got out the gym. Lord, they worked me out. I was asking Ronan this. And I'm going to ask Santiago, because Santiago's in the chat room. If y'all don't know Santiago, he is a yoga instructor in Manhattan. So we've been friends since we were little kids. So that's my boy right there. But I told you, I said every time, you know, I got a new gym membership, right? I was going to the Y before, and that membership expired. So I said I'm going to go somewhere else that's a little bit less expensive. And so I got a new gym membership. It's $20 a month. So I thought, well, maybe I didn't see a lot of black girls at the Y because I was paying, you know, like $80 to $90, and that can be kind of steep, but it was a family plan. So, and people, you know, you always hear that black women don't work out. You don't see black women in the gym. And, you know, I took some time off. Like, I haven't been to the gym. I think I took off, 2 months because I've been sick and a bunch of other stuff, but now I'm back hitting the gym hard. And so I'm in a new gym, and this one's like a younger, hipper gym, and, you know, they have a lot of different classes, and I really like it. I'm really liking it. I've been there now for the past few days. And once again, I'm noticing, okay, well, this is way cheaper. It's only $20 a month. I'm the only black girl, once again, in these classes. And so is it true? Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, because I always hear guys say that black women don't work out. Black girls don't work out, and people say they don't work out because it's their hair. But, I mean, there are black women who do work out, but it's like I don't ever see them at the gym.
It actually depends on the area, but in many gyms that I've been to, not in large numbers. There may be a few who are all about getting and staying in shape, and then there's others who make a legion of excuses, saying their hair or, you know, they'll get around to it on New Year's, but it's always something. You don't see too many women of color in many places, especially in the gym.
Right. And it's like, it's crazy because a few people in the chat room are saying, Austin is saying that he sees a lot of black women working out at his gym. Jamal said he tends to see a lot of older black women working out. But it's like, and I guess maybe it might be the gym, but it's like I just used to always hear that from guys, like, that's their whole thing, like black women don't work out enough and da-da-da-da. But I know there's a lot of black girls online that I know who go to the gym and who work out, because they talk about fitness and they do Zumba and stuff like that. But it's like I just never see them at the gym, like the gyms that I go to. So I don't know. I just want to encourage, minority women to get out there. It's definitely helping me, especially my back issues I've been having lately. Get out there, work out, even if it's just for an hour once a week. We have a lot of medical issues and diabetes, high blood pressure, the food, the GMO. Definitely get out there and work out. You don't even necessarily need to, hit the weight set, even if you're just walking around the gym, but just get out and exercise. I just want to promote that because it's made a big difference. Those 2 months that I took off from not working out because I was sick and everything else, it really took a toll on me. But it's like now that I've been back in the gym and working out and doing what I need to do, I'm feeling so much better. Like I just feel like I have so much more energy now. Because I know earlier when I talked to you and I came, I was like, okay, I'm tired. I'm about to jump in the shower and get ready for the show. I'm telling you, that combat class is no joke. I mean, oh, my God, I was sweating when I left up out of there. It was jam-packed and the lady was going hard. But I needed that. I need to get back into shape, so bring it on.
It does help to not just work out, but, learn something as far as, work on your flexibility. I'm going to try and decide if I want to do Krav Maga, martial art, or something. But that's what I'm going to do this year. And I'm pretty much going to try to kill myself doing it, but possibly doing some more bike training and P90X and mix of other things. So I wanted things to be right this year. People have been getting a little too comfortable on the holidays, eating foods, especially with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. You have to work that stuff off and get right. It's not just working out either. It's actually your diet. That would eliminate a lot of the problems that we have, especially in the black community, as far as diabetes, hypertension, and change your habits. But that's just the start of many things that we can talk about.
Right. And you're definitely right about that because I know Sean is saying he's talking about Planet Fitness is a really popular gym in his area. But, yeah, you're right and that's what it is. Like, it's the holiday season. It's cold. You don't really feel like getting out there. Because usually with me, like in the summer and the springtime when it's warm, after we get done eating dinner, we go for a walk. Me and the kids, we go for a walk. They run around and I walk. I walk all the time. But it's hard for me to be outside walking because I'm up here in Minnesota and it's cold as hell. I'm not walking in 2-degree weather. Sorry. So I was like, okay, let me just go back to the gym. But, yeah, I think it's very important in martial arts. Covina Man is saying take martial arts. Every black man needs at least 2 years of martial arts. And thank you for bringing that up. My sons are loving it. And it's so crazy. I talked to the boxing instructor today. Now, there's 2 boxing instructors. One's a man. One's a black dude, too. So that was really cool to see. The owner is a white guy. He's really, really down to earth. He does mixed martial arts. But the main boxer, he's a professional boxer. He's a black man. And then it's a white girl. And she's the co-assistant boxer. When I tell you, that girl got some hands. I do not want to get in the boxing ring with you. She's a beast. And so she said, she came up to me, we was talking today, and she asked me, she said, has your son ever took in boxing classes before? I said, no. I said, this is his first time. And I had explained to them what had happened at school. When the bully was messing with him, he punched the bully in the face. And I was like, I want him to redirect that energy and know, how to walk away from certain situations, but also how to defend himself properly, And so she was like, no, he's doing a really good job. He picks up really fast. And she was like, I'm asking because he has a very hard hit. She was like, and I heard he just turned 12. And I was like, yeah, his birthday was yesterday. She was like, he has a very hard hit. So she told me to buy him these boxing things that you put around your hands. They're like little, I don't know what they're called, but they're little wrist guards or something that it's almost like a Band-Aid that you wrap around your hands and then you put in the gloves. So she told me to do that so that way he doesn't, affect his wrist when he goes to, like, punch her and stuff like that. But she said that he's doing really good in the few days he's been there, and he enjoys it. Like, he really, really likes it because he's always wanted to get into boxing. Like, I've always played box with him. So, both the kids know how to fight, but I want them to be able to be smart about it too. I don't want them to just, to fight. But, again, sometimes when somebody's messing with you, sometimes some bullies just need to get dealt with. And since that situation has happened, the boy has not looked at him. The boy, basically walks the other way now. It's like he don't mess with my son. Sometimes it takes to just, knock that one person out or mess with that, stand up to that one person, and it gets other people to leave you alone. So it's like he's back and, everything's cool now. My youngest is in jiu-jitsu classes, and I talked to his teacher, and he said that he's caught on really quick, and he's really enjoying it because my youngest, he likes wrestling. He's a huge wrestling fan, as am I. So that's why I put him in jiu-jitsu. So it's kind of cool to have them doing both of those training, and it's going to help them in the future. So I'm going to keep them in it. And it was a really good deal on both of them. It's not cheap, but it was a decent deal. But I definitely agree with everything that people are saying in the chat room that we do need to think about learning martial arts and kickboxing, MMA, because in these classes you have a lot of white kids in the classes. They're in this stuff. They're into their martial arts. They're into their jiu-jitsu. They're into self-defense. And we need to be better at that. A lot of times we'll fight, but, I think that's where a lot of the conflict comes from, because a lot of folks can't fight. So they rather go pick up a gun. But a lot of these kids, they're learning, self-defense, but then they're also learning the conditioning and then when to walk away. Because if you can fight, you really don't even need to, stand up for yourself, because you already know 9 times out of 10 you can kick that person's ass. So I think a lot of the stuff that they're teaching them is really, really good as well. Everybody talking about grappling and yoga. Look at y'all healthy. They're talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay, I got some healthy people in here.
And it does help. Especially like with the kids, it teaches like discipline, knowing when and when not to do yourself. And, it's amazing about the power of a good ass whooping can help somebody. Like, I ain't trying to do that again. So I say go for it.
Right, and that was the whole thing. It's like, you punch them like that, okay, we need to put you in boxing class. And sometimes, and Zumba. Santiago's talking about don't forget Zumba tea. That's my favorite is Zumba. And, yoga is nice too, but I like stuff that's more fast-paced for me personally. But I like Zumba and I like combat fitness. It's really, really fun. So I'm just glad, we're just getting back into getting fit again. And so they're taking their classes, I'm taking mine. So it's working out good. And I've always wanted to try capoeira too. That's a really good one. I know this one dude, he used to do capoeira, and he's really good at it. Really good. So it looks like we have about 40 minutes left, and I have a special guest that's going to be calling in. He wants to talk about a particular situation in his life that he went through. He had ran across my video, the one I did about Little JoJo, Chief Keef, and Lupe Fiasco quitting the rap game. And he ran across my video, and he sent me an email, and he said that my video really touched him, and it meant a lot to him, and he wanted to share his story with me. And when he wrote his story to me, it just moved me a lot, everything he had been through. And I asked him if he would be willing to come onto the show and share it with the audience. So that's what he's going to do, and it looks like he's calling in now. So I'm going to go ahead and let him in. And I'm mad that Chief Keef is in jail. Mr. Stewart, are you for real? You see what he put in the chat room? He said Chief Keef is in jail for violation of probation. That's a shame.
I'm going to let that be.
Anyways, moving on. We're going to go ahead and let Wood in. So, Wood, I'm going to go ahead and open up your microphone here. We got a lot of callers on hold, too. Hello, Wood.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
No problem. My pleasure.
So, yeah, we have a lot of people. We have about 20 to 25 people in the chat room right now. A lot of people on hold on the phone calls. So we were just talking about a lot of different things. We were talking about, the Second Amendment, gun rights, and, self-defense and stuff like that. And I wanted you to share your story that you share with me on YouTube as far as your situation and what you've been through in your life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been, ups and downs with it, but living that lifestyle, everybody think it's just, cake and, it's a cakewalk and they don't got consequences that comes with it, living that life. But me, I was shot, I got shot over the heart. And, it hit my lungs, it hit my kidneys, my spleen. It cut my guts up so bad, that I had holes all through it. And, I was already dead when I got to the hospital, but it was like one of the doctors there. It was I don't know who it is to this day, but he just decided to go ahead on and shot me. And he shot me, and then they brought me back. So, I flatlined again in surgery, and they brought me back, but I stayed in a coma for like a month. And I, woke up out my coma, and, I had to wake up to the fact that I couldn't walk no more. So it was like, that kind of, messed me up real bad. And, it was coming from behind, like how all this rap stuff going on, I do music as well, and I got a little small label, but, we was out here in these streets real tough, and like I said, I was young at the time, and I wasn't thinking about the consequences that came behind it, because, when you get a certain level to where when you reach that certain level where you feel like you got that popularity like that, you feel like you can't be touched, and that's when you get touched, and it makes you actually wake up, because I done been through a whole lot sitting in this wheelchair, and it's like, I went through the stages where it's like suicidal, man. I had at one point where I had actually put a pistol in my mouth, and, it wouldn't go off for nothing. I clicked it, and it would never pull back. And I went outside and I shot it, and it shot straight in the air just like that.
And a lot of people in the chat room are just shocked. They're saying, wow, yikes, so sad, whole reality, and it is, because so many times, like we were just talking about Chief Keef and a lot of these, rappers out here, like you said, you were in the music game, you were rapping, you were up and coming in your city that you're in, and when you up and coming and you getting popularity, hence comes the haters, hence come people, who don't want to see you shine. And I think some of that is what Chief Keef is going through, and, and their whole little crew, whatever. But like you said, people need to wake up and realize, like, it's no joke out here, and it's just, right, and it's really unfortunate, because when I was asking, you were saying that, so I want you to kind of tell our audience how it went down the night that you got shot, because you said it wasn't even where the bullet was meant for you. You were breaking up a fight. So that's why I want to reiterate to people that sometimes we get pulled into stuff that our friends are involved in. That's why you have to be very mindful of the company that you keep. So if you go ahead and just kind of explain what happened that night.
Okay. Well, it was my birthday party, and, like I said, a whole lot of people were there. The club was packed out to the limit, and, they enjoyed the night. We performed, couple fights broke out, and they had to clear the club out. So we get outside, and, it was like I don't normally break up fights. It's either I'm going to fight or I'm going to, stay away from it, because it ain't my business. But I don't know, something about that night, it was like I was all into trying to keep the peace that night. But, I broke up one fight, and then, I saw my cousin and them, they was over there, still fighting with some more people. So I went to grab my cousin and told him, let's go get away from this stuff so we get back in the limo. And, that's when, the shot rang out, and I got hit, after the fact that I pushed him out the way to, like, let's go. You know how you shove a person, like, hey, let's go. And, right when I stepped in where he was standing there, that's when I got hit. And I didn't know I was hit. So, at the point when it shot out, it was like, oh, okay, they want to shoot now. So, me, I'm young, I'm in my street ways back then. So I'm like, okay, bet, let's do that. So I take like 3 more steps, and my whole body just collapsed, and I, went down face first. And like I said, I didn't know I was hit, but because my whole body just numbed up, like the way, like when you sleep on your arm and you wake up and your arm numb and stuff like that. That's how my whole body went from my face to my toes, everything. So, I was down there on the ground, and the police, they were sitting right across the street. So, we was like a known group that they really was trying to, after all the time. It's like we was targeted automatically. So they saw them watch me get hit anyway, and then they waited after the fact and came over there, and then that's when they started, rolling me over and checking me for weapons, and then I heard them on the intercom saying, yeah, that's El Rico, or they got hit or whatever. So, I could hear all this, but I can't move or, do nothing, and then that's when I got in the ambulance, I started fighting the police dude because I thought they were still messing with me, and I blacked out. And after that, that's when everything, went on, and I wasn't even aware of all the stuff that was going on. Like I said, I was dead when I got to the hospital, and, they brought me back, and then I was in a coma for a month, And then when I woke up, my people all looking at me smiling, but I could tell that it was something wrong because everybody had that funny look on their face, and the doctor didn't want to just tell me after I woke up out the coma that I couldn't walk because they was afraid I was gonna go right back into that coma from a state of shock.
Right.
But all I could do, I'm a grown man, but I'm gonna keep it real. All I could do is just break down and cry when I found out I couldn't walk. You know what I mean? That's anybody that you live your whole life walking, and then the next minute you can't walk. Excuse my language. My penis didn't work at the time. Everything was messed up about me. You know what I'm saying? I can't use the bathroom properly. Friends. Everybody that was there for me at the beginning, but as time went on, you start losing them. Everybody dropping, so you get down to them last few people that's down there holding you down, and then you see who really got your back and who really don't. And it's lonely out there like this. It's like I live a whole nother lifestyle from what I had to deal before, and it woke me up. So it's like only way I was able to deal with this, I had to go ahead on and accept the fact that this is what I'm living with now, and it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like I said, doctor appointments, I wake up to pain every day because the bullet burnt my nerve. So it burnt it so bad that you know what I'm saying? Like I wake up to pain, I go to sleep to pain. It hurts so bad that sometimes I can't breathe. I go in like little frantic panic attacks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's all messed up, but I learned to deal with it and manage with it and taught myself how to do things I did when I was walking, but I had to do it in a way of a manner of in this wheelchair now. So that's what I'm doing.
And a lot of people. Okay, so it's going on 5 years. A lot of people in the chat room are really sympathizing. Shamara says she feels like crying. Other people are saying that God really blessed you, even though you're in the wheelchair. He has plans and a purpose for you. Somebody else wants to know, what do you think about the whole gun control policy relating, how do you feel about the Second Amendment? Because we've been talking about that. So how do you feel about the Second Amendment and guns? Because I'm sure you probably feel about it a lot differently than how we feel, because you were so affected and you're still affected by, because trust me, it was an illegal firearm. I highly doubt the person who shot you was, legally owned to own this firearm. So if you could just speak on that for me real quick.
Right. Well, like I said, I feel the way I feel about it is I feel like we should all have, ways a manner of protecting ourselves. And sometimes that, the way we were forced to live, certain people are forced to live a certain way. So it's like, some people don't have no choice but to protect themselves, but some people they make that choice to protect themselves in that manner. And I feel like me personally that you should be able to bear arms. Because you never know what's going on in this world today. Things is. At first I didn't, want to deal with pistols no more after all that happened, because I didn't want my son, going down the same path I went through. Because experiencing what I experienced, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I still feel like, you got to protect yourself, because things ain't the same as it used to be.
Right.
That's just my opinion, though.
Right. So even though you've been through the violence and the gun situation, you're still for the Second Amendment because you feel like people have the right to protect themselves. Especially from people,
like you were telling me, your son defended himself because he had to. But that's just saying, like, if you're in a manner where you're forced to have to protect yourself in that way, if it has to go that far, then I'm not going to be against it, because I can't say who's supposed to live their life. How, everybody can live their life according to how, everybody else live theirs, Some people have to live it a certain way, some people don't. Some people forced to carry pistols, some people don't, and like I say, I just feel like it's everybody else's opinion of whether they want to bear arms or not.
Right. And Ronan, did you have some questions to ask?
Well, in listening to this, I'm beyond stunned, because not only a situation like this can happen in an instant, but it is real sobering and painful to see how people respond to, a situation like this. And I wanted to ask you, when you started seeing people dissipating and going away, how did you feel?
Ronnie, your phone is going in and out. Your phone is going in and out.
Yeah, I can hear it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, I was saying, when you had all your people, disappearing and everything, how did you initially feel when you started seeing that?
That's like, that was part of my depression, like, because I couldn't get girls the way I had them. I was used to having girls. I was used to having friends. I didn't have that. Females wouldn't holler. My friends weren't there. Only had close family members that was there actually, having my back. And, that was going to come with the territory. But the ones that I actually did thought would be there wasn't there. And that made me feel like, I wasn't that no more. I felt like I was less than a person because I feel like I ain't exist no more. I ain't matter no more. I couldn't make no difference no more. I feel like I couldn't protect nobody. I couldn't, I can't play football with my kids, run and play with them, like I used to walk them to the park every Sunday. There was a lot of things I couldn't do no more, and I felt like I ain't had no purpose. So, that's what brought about me trying to, I was trying to take myself out, and that's just being 100 with it. I ain't trying to mother or nothing like that. But like I said, this is what happens. You don't know how you gonna handle a situation like that. You could say that you would do this or you would do that if you was in that situation, but when that predicament comes about, it's a whole nother story. So it was like, that kind of messed me up real bad.
And then you were saying, too, I'm sorry, Ronan, you were also saying, too, like when it came out to, like, social interactions, it's hard, like you couldn't go out to, like, the clubs or a party because a lot of your friends, they want to, they didn't want to be seen with you because you were in a wheelchair. They didn't want to carry your chair. It just became uncomfortable when you wanted to just kind of keep to yourself.
Right, and it was, like I said, only family members that was willing to do all that. But, it's like everybody got their own, friends and their own life they live. But, you know what I'm saying, it was only family that was actually there for me, and my friends, they wasn't. And them, I feel like that was wrong to me because when I was up and I did bust my tail for everybody that I could bust it for, to help out. And then when it came to me really need somebody to give me that extra hand the same way I gave it to them, I ain't have it. I was reaching out for help and crying out for help, and nobody could really understand what I was crying for. You know what I mean? And the only person that knew what I was crying for was me, and, that's me and God. And everybody else, they couldn't understand it. So it's like that's what caused me to push back from a lot of people. And it changed the way I move, act, think, you know what I mean, and it forced me to grow up and be a man.
Right. And they're also saying in the chat room, Santiago is saying you have an amazing strength. You have such an amazing attitude considering what you've been through. College Girl is saying God bless you. You flipped your life upside. Your life was flipped upside down in a second, but you're living and you're taking a lot of perseverance. So. Your story is amazing, and that's why I'm grateful that you were willing to share this. Joseph is saying all the best wishes to you. So a lot of people are sending you a lot of really good messages in the chat room. Ronan, what else were you going to say?
Well, I wanted to say I appreciate, not only, for you coming out here and, like, telling people what's the other side of the game, because there's so many people who get all gassed up and, admire, individual like 50 Cent saying, well, I can go through that and get all this money and everything and think it's a glorified, thing. But there's like, when you have reality take place, when you have people like you thought was on your corner and they abandon you at your time of need, that is a very depressing and very sobering moment. But
right.
I want.
I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Well, I was saying, like, with everything you've been through, and plus, the moment that got me was said when you try to take yourself out and you weren't allowed to. That told me right there that you meant for something greater. Like, in so many ways, if you think about it, walking in that path that you're walking, that kind of limits you from doing what you were intended to do, and it may not make right now, but like you were able to like even touch people in in other people's lives other than you could have.
Right, and that's like on some real stuff. Like that was pretty much the only thing that could sit me down, because God give you warnings all the time, but it's like when you don't listen to what he's saying, it's like you got to do something that's up to your standards to actually make you pay attention to what he's saying. And that was his way of spanking me, and that's basically like the only way that I could actually be hurt, and that was to take away everything that I had access to. You know what I mean? Like that was my only way. I was real troublehead, And I was out there, like, really out there, buck wild. And like I said, that was the only thing that could actually stop me and make me sit down and think about what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm not supposed to be doing. Because like I said, I was always a caring person, but at the same time, I was in them streets getting it how I live, and that's those streets has got me living the way I'm living now.
Right. And that's why I felt it was so important for you to share your story, because I get so many emails, and that's what I tell people all the time. I get emails from people all over the country, from 13-year-olds in Chicago to kids in Hawaii. So many times we think, like, you know, these issues only happen in this area or in this particular part of town, but it can happen anywhere. You know, you were breaking up a fight. That bullet wasn't even meant for you. You know, it wasn't like they had, you know, a hit out on you. You just trying to do the right thing, and you end up being so affected. And one thing I want everybody to know is that all that damage that got caused to his body, you said your kidneys, your intestines, you being in a wheelchair, it all came from one bullet.
One bullet.
When he told me that, I was shocked. Right, it came from one bullet. So it's not like he got shot 15 times, 9 times like 50 Cent. That's why, you know, it gets frustrating when I hear rappers brag about getting shot. If you've ever seen anybody get shot and live, it's a lot. Them scars ain't no joke. Not even, you know, not even being in a wheelchair with those scars. You know, because I've had homeboys who've been shot, you know, and they have to wear bags and everything else, and their stomach just looks, you know, it's a lot. So to hear people brag about it like it's cool and it's okay, it's not cool to me. You know, and I just feel like kids need to realize that there's this other side of it. Okay, 50 Cent got shot 9 times and he's cool. This young man got shot 1 time and he's in a wheelchair.
Right.
So it takes one time, you know, and your life can change at the drop of a dime.
Yeah, and it hurts every day to live like this, but, you know, what can you do about it besides, you know, either push on or, you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm on some real stuff, you know, I want to, you know, keep this part brief. Like, I could have, you know, done anything to retaliate, but like I said, I feel like the situation made me a better person who I am now, so that's why I chose not to go that route. And I also, you know, kept my people calm enough to where they kept it the same way, because it's not about, like, it could have been happening to where if I wanted to retaliate, I could have, but I chose not to because, like I said, it made me a better person, and I'm actually thankful for the situation that it happened the way it did, because it actually gave me the means of, you know what I mean, helping a lot of people with their situation, because, like, all my little brothers and, you know, people around, my cousins and all them, I always, you know, give somebody some kind of knowledge or way of helping them, you know, better their life and stuff, you know, and that helps me out, you know, it helps me get through my day, making another person life better, you know what I mean, just showing them from what I went through.
Right. And they're saying a few more things in the chat room. Joseph is saying best wishes to you. Sean was asking about your friends, you know, who are you close with now? Joseph also wants to know how do you live today and have things become better for you? And then someone else is saying that every hero does not have on a fancy attire nor a story, but you're one of them. So, you know, you've inspired a lot of people in here tonight. You know, a lot of people are saying that you've inspired their night. VH1 Access is saying God bless you. You know, so your story is going to help somebody else. And that's why I wanted to give you a platform to share your story. Right.
And that's all I want to do, because I would... I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You finish. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I was saying, you know, because, like, even if I wasn't here, I would want somebody to teach my son better, you know what I'm saying, so he wouldn't have to experience what I've experienced, because I deal with him every day, you know, and he looks back at all the stuff that he sees, you know, his dad and his uncles, them, you know, like I said, we real popular like that out here, and, you know what I mean, so it's like 1.4 million people out here, I think. I'm not correct, don't quote me on it, but it's like, you know, we like one of the top 3 groups that people talk about out here, and our name stay in the street, but it was just that serious out here like that. And like I said, I would want somebody to, you know, teach my son better if I wasn't here. So, you know, yeah, I don't mind, you know, sharing my story with somebody else. So if it could do something for somebody else, if it touch one person, you know, that's fine with me, you know, as long as I got to, you know, somebody. You know, because like I said, this ain't nothing nobody want to experience. It might sound like it sounds something that they want to do because they in that street life. Even I used to be young, always saying I done did everything, been to prison, all this and that. All I need to do is get shot. But when I got shot, it wasn't nothing like what I thought it would be like. And now it's like, it's kicking me in my ass, excuse my language, But I deal with it though, you know what I mean? I deal with it every day, and I don't mind dealing with it because I fight and keep going, with my life. I ain't let that stop me.
Right. So now, was there a point in time, because this is one thing I know people have always said, and, you hear it in the hood all the time, if I ever get shot, if I'm ever, if I end up getting paralyzed, just kill me. Just kill me. Right. I don't want to live in a wheelchair. I'm sure you've heard people say that. So I think your story is even more inspiring because so many people say that, because you never think what happened to you. But you've been in a situation, this doctor that you can't find to this day literally saved your life, only for you to be in a wheelchair. But look how much you've grown from it and you've been able to inspire other people. So what do you think about that when people say that? Because that's something I used to hear all the time in the hood.
Like that actually, man, makes me feel good. Like to hear that makes me feel real good because I can look at it like this, like who am I that people like who knows me, like who am I for somebody to take the time out their day to say that they appreciate something like that, and that right there is, that goes a long way with me, because like I said, I'm not saying I'm a nobody, but I'm just saying, I'm just an average person like everybody else. Because I don't ever look at nobody like I'm better than them or lower than them. I look at everybody as equal, no matter how I'm living or you living. I feel like everybody's a human being and they deserve to be treated the way that you want them to treat you. So like I said, that feels good to hear people, actually, take heed to that.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of smart people. We have a very smart audience. I love my audience, and we're going to keep it real on here. And people just respect honesty, and that's what you've shown tonight. Just your strength. College was saying that it was great to hear your story, and the fact that we're in the chat room, we're all living around the country, and this story can touch so many people in so many different ways, speaks volumes. Just through word of mouth. So, right, and these are people in the chat room from all over the country. And everybody's touched by your story, and it means a lot, and that's why I'm really appreciative that you're willing to share that, because so many times I talk to people on YouTube, and I give them advice, and we talk about different situations, but it's always nice when somebody's willing to open up and tell that part of themselves, because we've all been through stuff. We all have a story to tell. But some people's stories are just more dramatic than others. And some people's stories I feel need to get out there, because like I told you before when we were talking on the phone, my thing, I don't know what my purpose is in life. I don't know why God put me here. I'm still trying to figure that out. But my thing is, whatever mistakes I made in my life, if I can help guide another person to a different path, if I can help somebody else learn from my mistakes so they don't have to repeat them, that satisfies me. And that's why I feel like your story was so important because, okay, you made mistakes in your life, you've been through a lot, you made a few bad decisions, but now you're rectifying that. And now those, your situation can wake up another teenager who runs across this blog, who runs across this radio show, who might be going down that same path or who might be hanging out with some friends. They may not be the tough guy off the crew, but you hanging with the, the knucklehead, he got all the beef, and it's usually the person who ain't got nothing to do with it who ends up getting hurt. The person they're aiming for don't never get hit. So it's crazy how much that happens. But I just wish that, that people just realize, how much it is when you're out there just shooting randomly, you're pulling the trigger. And I think the reason why a lot of people are so quick to pull up a gun, like I said before, is because a lot of these young men are just scared. They can't fight. They don't have no dads in the household to show them how to defend themselves, how to stick up for themselves, how to talk out their problems. So it's just like when you don't have anybody encouraging you, you just don't know no better. And so now, what happened to the perpetrator? What happened to the person who shot you? Was he ever caught?
Yeah, it's like I stayed out of involvement of that situation, because it's just how I was forced to live, and like I said, I don't put the blame on nobody, but like I said, that situation, I left, the state until that situation was over with because I didn't want them to force me to get on stand because, like I said, in my household, my mom raised me, like a teller is not what she want us to be. So therefore, I that's why reason I done it that way. But like I said, I don't blame nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was me and it was me on the other end, and I'm looking out for my brothers or whoever, I would have done the same thing back then. That's just how my mentality was. So I don't put the blame on nobody. But at the same time, you know, like I said, I'm the one that's living with it. So you know, I deal with it accordingly to how it comes to me.
Right, right. So, Ron,
and that's
were you going to add anything
though,
else?
you know, that's just my opinion.
Right.
I remember him saying, like, just an ordinary man, but it's really, think about anybody else playing the same situation. I don't think they'd be able to do the extraordinary things you could. That's just me being honest.
Right, right.
That's very true.
I'm sorry, I couldn't even hear that last part.
No, what I was saying.
I couldn't even hear that last part.
What I was saying is like in placed in the same situation, many would not be able to possibly do the same or actually the extraordinary things that you do on a daily basis. So the only disrespect I said was like I wouldn't even call yourself extraordinary. I mean like ordinary, because again, it takes a measure of courage and interpersonal mettle to really get up day by day and not just live your life but change lives of others. You know,
yeah, and I appreciate that. You know, like that's the kind of stuff that keep my drive going. You know, when I hear positive stuff like that, that's what keep my drive going and keep me to push others to keep pushing too.
Yeah.
Right, and even in the chat room, people are saying. Roshani is saying that she's in California and she's definitely going to share your story with her 14-year-old brother in Nebraska. College girl saying that she's in Michigan and she's been to clubs where people have had guns, fights break out. She's 20. Her peers range between the ages of 18 and 24, so it's directly affecting their age group, and it's heartbreaking. And she's going to, share her story share your story to her peers as well. So it's definitely, something that's going to help wake up a lot of other people. And the senseless violence, especially in the black community, is out of hand. We were talking last night, and Chicago. Today is what, the 16th?
16th. Yeah.
Today's the 16th of January, and in less than 16 days, 30 people are dead in Chicago.
Right,
I mean, that's 2
crazy.
to 3 people per day. It's crazy. The New Year has not even been a whole month, and 30 people have been shot dead. And this was as of yesterday. I don't even know who done died today. Probably 2 more. But it just shows. It just says a lot when people just don't value life anymore. And it's sad. People are so quick to pick up a gun and shoot their problems instead of trying to talk out their problems or just letting the stuff ride. Or like we were talking about yesterday. What happened to the old days? Like what happened to the old days when we just found what they did.
I was just saying, like they finding new more ways to teach for us to kill ourselves every day. When they find a new way that works, that's what they roll with, and they entice people with the stuff that they like to see, hear, and do, and be around. So that's how they lure us into doing it like that, and we ain't doing nothing but taking ourselves off.
Oh yeah,
and that's
like they're saying in the chat room. They're saying in the chat room that it's hands-free genocide. Like basically the system just sits back and laughs while we're sitting here, killing ourselves and hurting ourselves for no reason. And Joseph was saying that do young kids have any idea how hard some people work in order to get away from that so-called thug life?
Exactly.
And everybody don't want to be stuck in that life, but sometimes your environment and who you're with can pull you back into that. That's why I always tell young people when they email me, the same thing I tell with my son, everybody's not your friend. And you can't get caught up in other people's beefs, other people's situations, because somebody else's beef can lead to your demise. It's unfortunate, but I know a young man when I was growing up, he got killed when I was 16, and it wasn't his beef at all. He was in his garage, and a guy who had beef with another guy in our neighborhood, he ran into the garage looking to, looking for a hideout, basically. And they ended up following him into the garage, and they shot up the garage. And the dude that they were initially trying to shoot, of course, he was fine and dandy, not a scratch on him. But my homeboy had to die. You know, that was like one of the saddest funerals I've ever been to. He was 16, you know, and it's like I just went through so much growing up with just losing friends and people that you grow up with and people that you know. And sometimes I look back on it now that we're all in our 30s, and I'm like, you know, it's crazy because when you 18, you think grown. You think you know it all.
Right.
And it's like, you know, now that we are officially grown, it's like all these people that are not here to share this adulthood with us because we lost so many people, you know, during my high school days to gang violence and just senseless violence. And it's like, sometimes I sit and I think about, like, all my homeboys that end up dying at 16, 17, 18. It's like, I wonder what they'd be doing now in their 30s. You know, would they have families and kids and, you know. So it's definitely a blessing that you were able to make it through that the way you did.
Yeah. That's what I appreciate. You know, when like I said before, that's what gives me my drive to hear that. You know what I mean? And that's what keeps me going like that. And a lot of people I grew up with, either they dead or they got life, or you know, doing 20 pieces, or they you know, some moved on, some ain't. And there's a lot of people that got an opportunity. They don't even got to be out here, but they out here chasing this. They out here chasing these streets when they don't have to be here. You know, some people we ain't got no choice but to be in this predicament, and some don't. But the ones that's chasing this situation, they want to be here when we want to trying to find a way out.
Right. And that's what makes me mad with rappers like Lil Wayne, you know, because it's like you sitting here perpetuating this lifestyle and you trying to be a blood and everything else. You are worth millions of dollars. You can't find that nothing to talk about. You need to start claiming a blood set. You know, like, you're not about that life, and that's what irritates me, because kids look at that and they think it's someone to emulate, and they think that that's cool. But a lot of these kids, they don't know how it is to be out here in these streets really gangbanging and putting in work. You know, I have friends who are doing prison time, doing 30 years, double digits. I have a friend who went in at 18, and it wasn't even... He was an accessory to some stuff. You know, he didn't even know what was going on, but because he was there, everybody was charged, and he's doing 30 years in prison. And I have not seen him since he was 18. You know, so it's crazy. Like, it's real out here. You know, and a lot of people like to put on this persona in front, especially in the music industry, and they've never been involved in stuff like that. They've never, you know, had to deal with, like, gang violence and people going to prison and things like that, but they perpetuate it like it's something they do on an everyday basis, just like Rick Ross. You know, he wants to act like he's this big dope boy, but all the dope boys I know that were selling dope when I was growing up, they're all in prison. You know what I'm saying? How'd you make it out? You a big rapper, because it's not reality.
Exactly. And like my little brother, he did juvenile life, you know, coming up, and then when he got out, like he was out a year later, now he's doing a 16-piece. You know, my little brother ain't even get to really enjoy none of his time out. You know, he ain't getting to enjoy his teens, his 20s, you know, and that's, you know, that's crazy, because he gone for this same lifestyle that these people chasing, and they don't know it's real out here, because like we have to live this life. We have to, you know, like I said, it was a choice made way back when you were younger. But that, like I said, people make mistakes. But some people we go so far with it that we it's too late to turn back. So it's like, what can you do about it? You know, and the ones that got a chance to do something about it, they don't.
Right. And Ronan, what are your thoughts on the conversation so far? Because the chat room is popping. People got so much to say in the chat room.
I'm just concerned by it all that, you know, again, we don't have more discussions like this, because everyone likes to put some kind of polish on this so-called lifestyle. They want to dismiss the reality of things. I'm just stunned.
Yeah, that's man. I just feel like y'all show speak a lot of reality, man. Because like I said, I only watched it one time, and it was like it was real to me. So you know, that's why I was like, man, I was trying to be a part of it some kind of way. You know, and like I said, I don't have no shame in my game, sharing my story to nobody. You know, if I could tell somebody, that's cool. You know, and I appreciate any feedback I get from it, any support I get from it. Because like I said, that's what keeps my drive anyway. When I hear people tell me that they appreciate it, did something for them, so it gonna make me go even harder to try to touch even more.
Right. And so now we're down to our last 10 minutes. The show just goes by fast. I can't believe it's been 90 minutes already. I do have a few callers that have been on hold, so I'm going to go ahead and let one of them in if you just stay with us on the line. I'm going to let in area code 253. Area code 253, you're on the line. Table Talk with T.
Hey, T, I was listening the whole time, and I was agreeing on everything, like always.
Who is this?
It's Mr. Green.
Hey, Mr. Green, how you doing?
Good. Good.
So did you have a question to ask Wood? What did you think about his story? Because you're young. You're 13. You live in Chicago, and you ended up having to move, right?
Yeah.
Because you said about, because there was so much gang violence there that your mom moved you out of Chicago. So what did you think about his story?
It was very close to home. He got shot, and, you know what I'm saying, he was in the wrong situation at the wrong time. And I just want to know, what city is he, from?
Well,
did you want to answer that?
I'm from Mississippi, but I stay out here in Colorado Springs, Colorado right now. It's like 45 minutes from Denver. But don't everybody miss this, city, but this city out here go real hard too, because a lot of people from Chicago, they move out here, they come out here. It's people from all over, because it started off like an army base, but now, it got so many different people from different, cultures and different, area codes. It's like everybody bringing their lifestyle out here, and it's where everybody bumping heads, so that causes more drama, and people don't even realize how bad it is up out here, and, it's looked over though.
Yeah, and a lot of gang violence, and I heard the South is even worse, like in Atlanta and Mississippi and Tennessee and those other places, Louisiana. And
I mean, the A got their drama, like any other city in the South. I think Florida is the worst of all the southern cities. You know how I feel about ratchet-ass Florida. I definitely think Florida is the worst, but right now Chicago's seriously tripping. I mean, when you got 30 murders in 16 days, there's something that needs to be done. But, again, Rahm Emanuel's not going to say anything. God forbid you say that Barack Obama should possibly speak on it, then all of a sudden, you're just everything but a child of God. But something needs to be done. And I don't necessarily think getting rid of the Second Amendment is going to cure the situation, because it has to start with the mentality of the people. The whole situation is just very disheartening.
And another thing, the music, too. The music needs to change.
Right. And you guys, in Chicago, is big on that drill music. And that's how drill music perpetuates is, violence and, killing and selling drugs. So, the music is a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, it is.
Rick Ross, he's scared from the Midwest, because he started some stuff that he couldn't get himself out of. His concerts and stuff, he can't go his concerts and his fans and stuff, because he tried to play big dope boy, trying to show off and some real games, hit him up, and he got a little shook up.
Right. So it's a lot of crazy things going on. A lot of people making really good points in the chat room. So I'm going to go ahead and place you back on hold, Mr. Green. Thank you so much for calling in with your questions. I appreciate that, okay? So we're down to our final 5 minutes now. Like I said, the show is just going by really, really quick. A lot of people are talking about the rap music, the violence, and the movies, and hip-hop, stuff like that. And if you want to touch on that really quick, Wood, how do you feel about, violence, in movies that are showing, a lot of gun violence? And does it make you feel a certain way now, being in your situation, when you hear rappers talk about, shooting and killing and things like that?
Well, no, I don't promote it, man. I just basically just call it for what it is. But I don't promote it myself, because it's I'm just keeping it 100, because everybody out there rapping ain't pulling pistols like they say they are, and I'm out here watching it. I live this lifestyle where I see everything going on. Where I'm right hands on watching it. So like I said, I got my homie. He just got smoked. Was it last year? I think. Last year, 2 of them got smoked. I got a lot of people that have passed away over gunshots, and that's just I've lived in Kansas City, Missouri. I lived in Chicago a little bit off of 81st and Bishop. I've been in Mississippi, Memphis. We moved from Louisville, Arkansas. So I done floated around, and I done seen a lot of stuff. And I had little brothers that I had to raise too. So it was I was the oldest out of everybody, and I done seen this stuff go down so much in my life It's like, man, people don't even know the half of it.
Right. Yep, and it's very true. So when people, say certain things about, we got to start cleaning up the black community and we just need to do better as black folks, and then you got people who get offended, who get upset, but this is real. Like, because we're the ones killing ourselves. I mean, we want to get upset anytime it's some, white on black violence, like, Trayvon Martin. Like I said, what happened to him was wrong. It was foul. It wasn't needed. But when you have black kids killing black kids 24/7, that needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. Right. I want to see Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson speak on that and not just race bait.
Right.
Because we're the ones doing it to ourselves. Right, it is population control. You're right.
Control.
We're doing everybody else's
business. That's why they don't do nothing about it. You'll see, like not on a racist stuff, but you'll see a white man get off before you see a black man get off, and they'll make a big issue out of a white person issue. Like if he was to if he was to kill somebody, and they'll make a big issue out of making sure he get away free. But if it was somebody black, they'll make a big issue toward making sure he got locked away. And then they, like I said, it's population control, really.
Right. And Camera Lady saying in the chat room that they don't care because black kids killing other black kids is part of their agenda. And that's very true. You have a lot of people who they don't care. That's why no one speaks on Chicago. That's why no one, cares that there's 30 murders, because those 30 murders were black children, killing other black children.
Exactly.
But I just heard a story that Reverend Al Sharpton is doing a whole march against the Django dolls. He don't want their dogs to be out. And it's like, you worried about some dogs and you got 30 children dead in Chicago? I think we can find better things to march on. Yeah. The whole situation is just really crazy. So we're down to about 3 minutes. Ronnie, you have any last words?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, what I can say about that whole situation with Al Sharpton and making a march about dogs versus 30 lives getting snuffed out. Not just him, but a legion of other people. Priorities all fucked up, personally. And, not keeping an eye on the ball, they're not fighting important fights. It's always something to appease others or make them feel better. And I'm just more disturbed about how things are going out here and how people want to hide behind the most bullshit campaigns when we're really focused on what matters right now. And that's all I had to say right there.
Right. Yep, we definitely have to focus on more and better things because we have to do better for the next generation. We just have to. If not, we're not gonna have a next generation. Sad but true.
Yep.
And did you have any last words? A lot of people are still in the chat room talking. They're saying that Al Sharpton is a joke. Hope he runs out of hair relaxer. Joseph is a mess for that one. The whole situation is just really, really crazy. I'm really glad that you were able to join us. We're down to about a minute left. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. It meant a lot to me, and I'm glad that you were willing to come on here. And I knew that it would touch other people because it touched me a lot when you wrote me and you told me what you had been through and how my video inspired you. And that's why I do what I do, and I'm not going to change what I do because as long as I can inspire and help one person, I mean, maybe that is my purpose. I don't know. And
there you go. And I just appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity, to speak my story. That's something that goes a long way with me. That's something right there could change my life in a major way. You never know how.
Right.
I appreciate it because it gives me.
We're down about 90 seconds, and you're very welcome, and I appreciate you for coming in. Is there any way that people can contact you? Do you have a Twitter that you want people to follow you on? You want to leave a Twitter or email address or anything if people want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I got a Facebook at Wood Hamlet, or you can hit my email at houseofplayers@yahoo.com. That's HOUSEOFPLYAZ@yahoo.com, or just go to Facebook and say Wood Hamlet. That's WOODSAYWAT Hamlet HAMLET.
Okay, cool. So Those are ways to contact him in case you guys want to talk to him and send him any type of messages. Definitely feel free to do that. And we're down to about 20 seconds left. I want to thank everybody who came to the chat room. We're up to about 35 people in the chat room. You know, I want to thank everybody who's on the line listening and thank everybody who supports the show. We're definitely going to do this again every Wednesday, so you're more than welcome to join us again. Next Wednesday, Mr. Wood, if you want to come through, you know, you can definitely call in and listen into the show. So, 10 seconds left. We're out. And we will see you guys next week, Wednesday. Good night.
All right, good night.
All right, I'm going to get my phone fixed, damn it.